What's up, everybody?
What's happening?
Dude, I love the flowers behind you, Patrick.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
I have a really cool view, but it's I don't think it's going to work very well though. I'm in an Airbnb in oh, I see what's happening. I'm in an Airbnb in Mexico City right now.
How is it, man? You got kidnapped yet?
So far we have not been kidnapped. We got a nice little streak going.
You ever seen Man on Fire?
Yeah, with Denzel.
Yeah, dude, that's Mexico City for you. Like they have a statistic there, something about one every like hour a kid's like kidnapped or something for ransom.
Kid?
I think so. Are you not a kid anymore?
I'm not, so maybe I've got some.
Shave your beard, brother.
Hey, welcome to LeadSnap.
Oh,
we're excited to have you.
Hang on a second.
Welcome to LeadSnap.
It launches on the when I it streams into the Facebook groups as well as the YouTube, and it always starts a YouTube video when it starts that for some reason. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I was saying, guys, I am. You guys like my new decor here? I'm in Mexico City. I haven't shared this with a lot of you guys, but I had a bunch of exchange students when I was growing up. We actually had 13 exchange students from the time I was 5 until I was 18. And we've kept in touch with a lot of them. So it's been cool because we have friends in different places around the world. So one of them I haven't seen in a long time. He's from Mexico. So we're going to go watch the United States-Mexico soccer game tomorrow. We rented out a box suite. Looks super cool. Really excited. I'm a huge soccer fan. So this is a qualifying World Cup soccer game for the United States. And then from there, we're going to go. We have an all-inclusive resort for about 6 days, starting a week from now. So not in Mexico City. And so excited. It's been a long day of travel. So I'm going to keep this to probably about an hour today. I'm going to go over a couple new features and things that we've dropped into the app. We're about to release the white label stuff. I've just got to get a couple more small bugs taken care of that I found. Keep sending it back from testing. I'm sure once I think that there's no bugs and I release it, then you guys will be like, hey, here's a bug, here's a bug. But I'm trying to eliminate as many as I can before I release it. Try to find all of them, be diligent with that. All right, let's get into it though. Who's got some wins?
Hey, Patrick, I don't think we're live in the groups. We're not seeing that.
Okay. Let's go through the wins. Jeff,
who's got a win?
I'll solve tech problems.
Wins.
Got a bit of a win. Got a bit of a win, guys.
Cool.
With a guy who comes in here, Paul. I can't remember his last name. Anyway, we had a conversation a couple of days ago. He just had some software questions because obviously I'm a bit of an LTD addict, and we kind of hit it off like really well. And it looks like it's going to turn into a bit of a symbiotic relationship, such as like Patrick and Jeff. That makes sense. You know, he just loves to sell, man. He's got his own agency, and I don't want to say too much because he's a bit of a war horse, and I think we might have something really good going on here, which is going to take a lot of stress off our backs because I just love doing the digital shit, man. I love building sites and automations and all that crap. You know what I'm talking about, Patrick. And yeah, so this could be an exciting new chapter in our journey. So I reckon that's a bit of a win.
Yeah, that sounds great. I always feel like I get farther faster when I'm collaborating with others. It has to be the right people, though. That's always the key.
I'm going to follow on from Graham with the Australian theme. Really quickly, yeah. So I think the win for me was reaching out to Devon. Had a really good chat with him. Off the back of the advice that you guys had given, Patrick. And the other thing I was going to say was, I think we've landed a 6.5 deal.
Kind of fading out on us, Lenny. I'm not sure what happened.
Sorry, mate. All I was saying is just landed about a 7.5K deal. And yeah, so we've got to put get going now. So yeah, thanks, guys. It's
Yeah.
just SEO,
You landed
but it's
a-
not
you-
rank and rent.
You cut out again, Lenny. You said you landed what kind of deal?
7.5K, yeah.
Oh, that's good. Is that a website build?
Well, it's SEO. It's
Okay.
probably about 100-page website, but it's a
Okay.
start with something. So yeah.
Congrats, man. That's awesome. That's good to hear.
So no, thanks.
Super cool.
Awesome, Lenny. Anybody else? Who else got to win?
You know, I gotta win. I always be winning over here.
Spence, here he is, Spence.
Uh,
What do you got?
since the last call, just took one of our website clients and turned him into an SEO client. So that, and then a little extra cash there. So added an additional $1,000 to my monthly total with the SEO for a little while. So not huge wins, man, but I'm consistent. So I'm happy with the consistency because that's difficult for us.
Yeah, well, if you're adding a grand or two a month, even that adds up pretty quick, by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, cool. Well, congratulations, Spencer, for continuing to go out and sell and build your agency. Awesome. Anyone else?
Spencer, mate, you're on fire, brother. Absolute fire, man. And
Thanks, Graham.
I just love watching your shit, man. I just love watching you explode, onto the scene, man. And I know a bit of your backstory and your struggles, and a lot of us are from the wrong side of the tracks and struggle street. And you're truly inspiring, man. Just want to let you know, brother. I love you, man.
I appreciate that, Graham. I appreciate that, man. Like it's, as you know, the road's never easy, and that's a few weeks ago in the group I posted, I feel like we all have to pay our dues. There's no shortcuts in what we do. There's a lot of newbies that want to reach out and think that there's just one specific thing that each of us that are successful is doing, and that's definitely not the case. That it's the bumps and the bruises that we get along the way, and then just one day, all this major puzzle piece just all fits together, and it just makes sense, and we're flowing. So I just encourage everybody to make sure that you pay your dues and know that there's no shortcuts. Yeah, there's veterans out there, and I'm definitely not one of them. But there's veterans like Patric that I'm sure sometimes he feels like he doesn't have it all figured out, even at the size of his agency. You know what I mean? Because it's a constant
All the time, man.
Yeah, I can attest to the fact that it's constantly blocking, tackling, trying to figure out what the next thing is, staying ahead of the game, and trying to keep everything rolling in a positive manner. So yeah, it's not passive for this agency. We're definitely out there on the front lines, like solving problems and optimizing. We always want to make it the best that we possibly can. We want to make each client that we have, each project that we have, we want to optimize it the best that we can. If you're going to do it that way, then it's not just a passive model by any means.
Yeah, you guys, this I don't know if this shows through on these calls. I know some of you guys that have been paying attention to us for a while, the attitude that I have might come across as easygoing and down to earth, but it's within our agency, it's pretty we're pretty aggressive with what we're doing and our pursuit of perfection, which I know is impossible, but our pursuit of excellence and really trying to get to the next level. We had a really we do a Monday every meeting with my team, and we had a kind of a heart to heart, because it seems like we're not I think we've gotten maybe a little complacent, a little cocky, because we've had success where we've taken our foot off the gas on some level, and we've gotten a little sloppy. So, it's a never ending process of refinement. And as you go through this, your standards go up. So, maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, looking at how the agency was running, I would have been satisfied with it. But now, what I've learned, it doesn't seem like it's satisfactory. It doesn't see, it feels like if we're not making strides forward, then everyone else is, and we're going to get passed by. So it's really, so I don't want you guys to think that we've I could have this on autopilot to some extent, and a lot of the people on my team manage a lot of the things in my agency. So It's allowed me to focus a lot more on the software. But the agency itself is certainly not passive. Everybody, like, you know, Jeff and the rest of my team, they're constantly going through new training and new videos and trying to discern and distill what the best way to do things are based on what we see from other people and testing and, you know, trial and error. And, you know, and things change so quickly. Like, you know, it's definitely a battle, you know, I don't know. I just want to make sure that we're completely transparent with how we represent things to you guys. And, you know, you're not thinking that you're going to get to this spot and then no one in your agency is doing any work and you don't have to pay any attention. You might be able to, like, the spot that I'm in where I don't have to do a ton for the agency. I focus more of my time on the software side of things. That took a lot to get here. And you know, there's a lot of, I'm excited because we're going to be releasing our course and I'm going to really dive into every step of what we do, every step of the way from A to Z on how we've, you know, ranked the website, how we build the website, how we come up with content, our backlinking strategies, how we get GMPs, and you know, the things that I feel are most important for this stuff. Then how do we hire, when to fire, how are we measuring productivity? How are we building the culture, right? What are some of the important things that we're trying to instill in our team? And what do we think is necessary to scale? On some level, it feels like I mean, I guess we've kind of plateaued a little bit right now. It's just, we've plateaued several times along the way and we're grinding our way through this one right now. You know, what got you to where you are, like Spencer is a good example. He's had a tremendous amount of growth in a short period of time. And what gets you to, like, past the boss at the end of level 1 is not going to be what gets you past the boss at the end of level 2, right? Like, what got you to where you are is likely going to have to change to go to the next level. So you've got to constantly be self-aware enough. And, you know, I had this conversation with my team about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Is like I told him, I'm like, I feel like we're complacent and cocky and we need to get back to, like, a beginner's mind. Because when you have that, you guys aren't familiar with the beginner's mind. When you have that beginner's mind, it's like you're looking at this as like a whole new world and you're not just like making assumptions. It's good when you start to level up and you can have confidence where you can tweak the model here and there. But it's dangerous to kind of think that you know everything about anything, because then you close down the opportunity for improvement, right? So we've been really pushing that within our agency. You know, I have really enjoyed some of this coaching that we've gotten. I was fortunate enough to meet with a guy, you know, the coaching program I'm in for software founders. I had about an hour and a half call with a guy who just like specializes in like managing developers. Oops, sorry, we got a windstorm going through here. So, you know,
They're firing at you already.
What's that?
They're firing at you already.
No, we have this balcony here. We actually have a really awesome view, but I didn't really see a way to set things up. And so there's this huge door that's opened up. My buddy came in through the door and it just like slammed it in his face. So sorry about that, guys. But I don't want to sidetrack from the wins. Who else has wins? Jeff, do we have wins in our agency?
Well, I think I talked about it last week where we had that client that wanted to expand. So we pitched him a deal and I'm sure he's going to do it. He hasn't come back and actually paid the money, but you know, we set it up as a pre-sell, like we've been teaching you guys how to do, and he's all about it. So I'm sure we're gonna close that deal for him or with him. So that's a big win.
Yeah, you guys, it's super easy to close deals on existing clients. And you know, if you get yourself up to like 20 solid clients, then between like, if you can serve 20 solid clients really well, between the expansion revenue that you'll get from the existing clients and the referral source, like the amount of prospecting you do can really slow down quite a bit. And, you know, that's kind of where we are. And it's slammed our fulfillment, where our fulfillment is just always, we're just like, always like, okay, this new project's available. This other new project's available. how do we set things up and train people well enough so that we can scale and have our managers be the ones that are essentially hiring and onboarding people. I'm actually building something for our agency right now, and I've kind of had the idea to build it into the system where you could like have your own training videos for people that you onboard. So that way you could essentially load all your videos and have like a course management type system inside of LeadSnap. So that way, I mean, you could use it to sell your own course as this expands into be more than what it started as, but it can also be a way to train your team and give different members access to different courses. So, you know, I every time that I build something for my agency, I'm thinking like, how can I get this into, because if we need it, then you guys probably need it too, right? So, you know, that's probably a future module that is coming is like the ability to build in like SOPs and training videos, and then assign people of your team to have access to different ones and check their completion status and how they've done. So that's kind of what we're building for our own agency right now, so that we can train people and onboard them faster, better. Anytime you do something that you're doing multiple times, it's like, how can we have somebody else do that, right? So we can focus on bigger decisions. And onboarding is certainly a huge part of that. All right, let's get back to the wins. Who else has wins? Anybody else have anything to celebrate? It can be quick, easy. What do you guys got? Nada?
Here comes Devon.
Devon, is your heat out again, brother?
I know, right?
It's just, I was out for a bit. It's just cold and nasty, so I was just heating up.
Yeah.
Furnace is working now in the new place, so no complaints with it. Just quick wins though. Another one was I launched a new agency site this week, and it's definitely, I took the time to make it worthwhile, you know, like actual sales funnels involved, a proper website designer getting involved with it. And it's not just me doing it on there, outsourcing some of those higher end things just to really make it like that white glove, elegant look that I want it to, you know, just establishing that authority. And the other thing was just saying no to another customer over this last week. And it was for a pre-sold LeadGen deal, would have been $1,500 up front. He earns the money back. And then just figuring out something that would have made sense for both of us on a monthly deal. We didn't get to those parts of the detail just because I realized that he's not the right client for me, you know, just being able to say no to it. And it actually goes right in line with what you were talking about with Jackson last week, where I was selling the Ferrari up front, right? Or Lamborghini, whichever car of preference you'd referenced.
I anti-Lamborghini currently.
Okay. So I was trying to pre-sell the Ferrari, right? I wasn't doing the results in advance method to him, and it would have made it a much easier sale, but like that was just the second lesson from it. But just again, being able to identify who I actually want to work with, where it's going to make sense, where it's not going to make sense. It's been a huge shift in being able to, with focus over the last month.
Awesome. That's good to hear, man. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're keeping warm.
Yes.
Cool. Who else we got? Any other wins? All right. I know we have a lot of new people coming into the group, which is awesome to see. The group has been growing. We, as you guys probably know, we do no advertising for the group. So it's all coming from referrals and stuff like that. So we appreciate you guys pushing this group. I think we've added about 25%. We've had about a 25% group growth rate in the last 30, 45 days, which is awesome to see, because we were at 600 and now we're above 750, I think. So we appreciate you guys finding the value in the group and referring other people to it. As you guys know, there's no requirement to have a subscription. There is a requirement though to the way that you pay for the group is you help and you participate in the group, help people out, support them, build the community. So that's all we ask of you guys. So we appreciate this. We appreciate the group that we have here. Jeff and I, we kind of do a like a debrief after every call, and that's been the focus on a lot of the last 3 or 4 calls. Is like just the way the group culture is growing has been really cool. You guys weren't on the call last week. We do have link circles. I saw that one of them launched off. Backlinks, if you guys didn't see the last call, backlinks are a huge part, in my opinion, of ranking your site. A lot of people think that they maybe have less influence on the GMB, and we have maybe shifted more attention towards the value of the GMB over the last like year or so. But I'll tell you guys, we've lost GMBs, and we've had where we have a site with no GMBs that's ranking first organically, and we still have leads coming in. So I think, it is definitely important to rank your site. I personally believe the ranking of the site dramatically influences the ranking of the GMB. So if you didn't watch that, I dropped a few backlink strategies, a couple places where you can purchase them. We purchase a lot of backlinks in our agency just because we think it's more scalable to do. And then the link circle is a valuable way to do it. So if you guys haven't done it, check out the video last week. If you're interested in doing it, feel free to post it in the group. We're accepting those now. I think it can help you guys work together and rank some of your sites better. Cool, man. What are the wins we got? Anybody else? It's good to see all you guys on here. We got Brian Jones, Devon, Greg Adams. What's up, brother? Is that Henry Raphael, my friend from Canada? What's up, man? I don't know if you can tune in.
Yes, it's me, Henry from Canada.
Hey, there he is. What's up, man? It's been a while.
Doing great. Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you, I've been hanging out with some French Canadians. Is that where you are?
That's where I'm in Montreal.
Montreal, yeah. There's a lot of this RV resort that we have been staying in. No one speaks English. I feel like I'm in Montreal. But they seem like a good group of people. They're out there partying and celebrating every day.
The restrictions are lowering, so everybody's trying to get out now.
Yeah, I think they all came to the same RV park because it feels like 1 in 10 people that speak English. How's your business going, man?
I'm working right now on launching 10 LeadGens in the Quebec area.
Okay.
I was focusing a lot of out of here, but now I decided why not build here if I live here, right? So
I mean, you can do it anywhere. I always think it's easier to get traction in your own town if you have the ability to, like, getting the GMBs and getting the addresses is easier, getting the reviews is easier. It's always easier to close a client in person than it is. That being said, once and I think you're kind of like at this cost. I talked to you about a year and a half ago, and I think you were just getting started. And I know that you had landed a few jobs. How are things going?
it was mostly on Upwork.
Okay.
But now I want to focus more on the LeadGen part and only.
I love it, man. I've said it. I think a lot of people, they start off LeadGen, they go away for the SEO, they go on a little SEO vacation, and then they come back and they're like, I want to focus. I did the same thing, so I understand it. Some of these things, I send this message to people and I see them make that decision. And I think sometimes I did the same thing. I heard people tell me, and some things we just have to learn on our own. And, once you get once you have confidence in your ability to rank the sites and to close the deal, then there's kind of no going back to SEO. And that's where you start to say no to the SEO deals. Cause it's just I know that I can do, I'm confident that I can rank and get this thing and I'm going to own it. And it's just going to produce every month. I'm confident in that. Once you get to that spot, when somebody comes and asks you to spend your time doing something else, it's a lot easier to say no, I guess, So cool,
I needed more fast money that time also. But I think I learned a lot doing SEO for others also. And yeah, I'm following your system of building out the websites and now I'm on the GMV phase. So I'm about to be contacting GMV people everywhere now.
Okay. Right on, man. Yeah. Cool. Well, it's good to have you on here, man. It's good to see you again.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. All right.
Can I just ask a quick question to the group, or actually to Spencer? So just a quick one. Are you building out, are you doing SEO?
I'm having a hard time hearing you, Lenny.
Okay.
I think he's saying, are you doing SEO? Am I doing SEO, Lenny?
Yeah, that was the question. Look, yeah, if I'm not coming through strong, I'll save the question. Don't worry about it.
If you want to type it into the chat, man, that could be a good way to do it. I think what you're asking, maybe you can just say yes or no. I think what you're asking is, is my agency doing SEO or?
He was asking Spencer, I think.
Oh, Spencer.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I was going to ask was,
Okay, now you're super fading, Lenny.
Yeah, sorry, Lenny. I would love to help you, but throw it into the chat. And then I don't know if it's an Australian internet thing or what the deal is. Throw it into the chat. We're 100% happy to help and answer your questions, but we can't make out what you're saying. So, all right, I want to share a couple things with you guys. We're getting very close on the white label stuff. I know that it's taken longer than we've anticipated, and that's just kind of like how development goes. That's why I always feel really hesitant to try to assign a date of when we're going to release something, because there's just so many dependencies on things, but we are getting very close. I think we are maybe, what I'm hoping is one round of updates away from launching it. So we're going to get that out for you guys. We're going to release it in beta. Over time, there will be a charge in the beta release. You guys won't have to pay for it. We just want to make sure that there's a lot of moving parts with the beta stuff. Is that Janeri? It says Michelle. I don't know how she got her picture to show. I don't know how you guys do that. What's up, girl? How you doing?
Hey.
Cool. How are you?
I'm good. You're doing better than me though. You're in Mexico, so
yeah, come on down. Dominicans are welcome.
One of my favorite places. I'm planning on going this year for sure.
Yeah. We'll talk offline, but maybe we could do a couples retreat.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So the white label stuff, like I said, is coming really soon. We just released a batch of phone permissions for you guys. We had limited phone permission functionality, and I'm going to kind of share with you guys. I'm going to share my screen here in a second, and I'm going to walk you through how this stuff works. It's going to give you a lot of flexibility. We have some changes coming with the way stuff is presented. We're really pushing hard as well for the dashboard and reporting system to get that out. We've got a decent amount of work. It's not coming out like in the next week or so, but I'm hoping to launch it in April. So I think it's going to be a real game changer and give us a ton of data that we need. So kind of the structure of it is to be able to build your own reports and then have those be sent to you at whatever frequency you set, to be able to brand those reports so you could send them to clients. And this is mixing in some of the data from like Google Analytics, the Google My Business area, call tracking, your leads, all this stuff where you can kind of build these reports and then brand it with your agency. And you can kind of do it one of three ways. So the first way is you could just have it sent to yourself. So maybe that's something you want to do every Friday or something like that, or every Monday, where you want to review your agency's performance over the last week. A second way that you can do it is you can have it sent directly to your clients with your branded information on there. And a third way is it gets sent to you and then you kind of look things over and then you press approve. And once you press approve, then it gets distributed to your client. So it's something that I kind of feel like we've had some frustration in our own agency, even though we have this tool that can give us all this data, is just the work that's required to get the data that we need. So we're going to try to really simplify that for you and give you guys some options with some templates that have some really beautiful graphs and charts and numbers and some of the data that maybe is not easily accessible, such as the missed call percentage, right? That's something that we want to know. If you guys are missing, if your clients are missing phone calls, the next conversation that usually happens after if they've missed a bunch of phone calls, the next conversation that happens after that is like, hey, I can't pay my bill. So being able to cut that off before you have that conversation and say, hey, Tommy, your missed call percentage is like 50%. They can't possibly be getting the value from what you're sending them if that's the case. And you need to being able to kind of head that off before it becomes an issue, I think is going to help our client relations a lot. I think it's going to make our service more valuable. It's going to give us the data that we need. So I'm really excited to get this reporting stuff out to you guys. Like I said, I think we're going to be releasing that one in April. Let me share my screen here. Give me 1 second. All right, get this thing loaded up. Jeff, have I missed any questions?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right, cool. Keep your eye open for Lenny's question, because that's probably coming in there. All right, cool. You guys can see my screen? Jeff, can you see my screen? You're the only one I can see. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, so the way the phone system permissions work is if we go down, let's talk about user roles first, because I know there's been some confusion with user roles. So user roles, you can basically build out a set of permissions. So we call it a user role, and you can save that, and then you can apply that to users. So the way this works is if you expand settings and then users and then go down to user roles, you can see that I have a few sample roles here. I can make a new one right here, or I can edit an existing one. So we'll look at this one that's called leads only, which is probably not accurate because I've been testing this a lot. So this part right here will give access to this user, whatever user, to the getting started section, which is the video tutorials and stuff like that. So we gave you guys permission of whether you want, like, imagine you're assigning this to your client. If you want them to have access to those parts of the application, then you can turn that on, and they will. You'll notice, let me just shut this off for a second. All right, so these categories here, like CRM lines up with CRM. You see reputation management lines up with reputation management. Heat map is inside here. And then we have like the due diligence, GMB. This is a new one we added, is the phone system one. So we just released this one, I think on Monday is when we rolled this out. So some of you guys may have seen it. This goes hand in hand with another part, because creating these user roles can be complicated, because we can set the permissions and everything like this on a macro level for like, hey, this is a role, but for a user, maybe one company has like 10 different phone numbers, and we want a user to have access to only 4 of those numbers because I've got one website that's being split between multiple clients. So there's some of the permissions are handled through the actual user part of it, and some are handled through the user role part of it. So if I don't give permission to the CRM when they log in, this thing will not be visible. If I give them permission, this will expand, and you can see that we've broken down the sections in here, like for instance, automations and automations, leads. So that would show that. And then within that, you can do several different things. You can give your users the ability to view the leads, to edit, to create new leads, and to delete other leads. You can give them the option to export things if you want them to be able to send leads. So you can get pretty granular with how you set up your users through this. You can see just within the CRM, there's a ton of different permissions. So let's get into the new one. So this goes through the entire system the same way, where you're kind of like assigning these permissions on a like module and kind of sub-module level. Someone is honking out there. Sorry, guys. I left this door open. Okay, so the phone system, right? So we can, with the phone system, I can decide if they're going to have access to the calls. And then by default, they'll get access to view calls, but they could edit it. They could create new calls. So that means they would be able to make outgoing calls, or potentially like delete calls from the call history area. The same with text messaging. It will always start off with view, and then there's not really a little confused about what that edit is there for. I'm not exactly sure that, my apologies, I'm not sure that has a function. This will allow them to create new text messages or delete existing text messages. This is working with the call flows. I'm going to go into those just a little bit because we've had a lot of questions about how the call flows work. And this is with the numbers. So they can view the numbers, they can edit the numbers. So that would be editing like the whisper message or the forwarding, this type of thing. This is the ability to purchase new numbers or to delete numbers. So you want to be careful with this one. You're probably not going to give your clients access to that one, right? And then this will allow people to port numbers. So maybe you want to give this to somebody that works within your agency, and you'll shut that off for everyone else. But by default, everything kind of comes shut off. So additionally, with our phone system, if we go in here to settings and then to users, let's look at a user. All right, so I'll just create a new one, actually. We'll do it that way. All right, so when I go to create a new user, I have to put in their name, and we have some kind of weird issue where we haven't figured out exactly how to disable the browser from filling information in. So if you guys come here and your email address is in here, it's getting pulled from your browser. So we're working towards that kind of like, but I guess it's a bug on like allowing that. So just make sure you delete it when you create this new user. If you edit a user, you might see that as well. The admins by default, you can kind of see these things are grayed out because admins have access to everything. So you can kind of see I created this leads only role that we were just looking at. So now I have the option to assign it to a user. So that's how that works, is we can go into user roles, we can build this out, and then we can assign it to a user, and they'll have whatever permissions. We kind of inherit the permissions from whatever we set up within that user role. This is where we can assign the companies list, right? So we can go through and say, hey, they're going to have access to this company. So that could be like for the leads. And then for the phone numbers, this is where, like say I have this bear removal company, and then I go over here and I select the company, the phone number. So these phone numbers are all associated with this company. So you kind of have to have that company in place first. And then all those permissions that we were looking at on the phone system, those would be allowed, but only for the phone numbers that you select. So by doing it this way, we've given you guys kind of an incredible amount of control over what your users can have access to. So we could say like, hey, I've got one client that maybe has like these 5 phone numbers, and I got another client that has these 5. So I could give them access where like, even though they're within the same company, they may not have access to all the numbers. And this goes throughout the entire system. So you guys have noticed there's a lot of spots in here where this is going to affect things, right? So if I were to look at the phone system and go to like calls, there's a dialer on this page. So, and there's also the ability to text on this page. So like down here, we've got this, okay. I'm on a super small screen and it is not showing me all the actions. So this is a bug that we're going to have fixed here really soon. We're going to add scroll bars. Oh, there they are. Maybe we already fixed part of it. Okay, so if I slide this out, I have the dialer option, right? So if I didn't have the permission to create calls, then I wouldn't be able to see this tab. And the same with texting. If I didn't have the ability to create text, then I wouldn't be able to see this spot. And if I didn't have permission to some of these numbers, I wouldn't be able to see those here. And any actions that have taken place, such as calls that have come in, if I don't have permission, these calls won't be visible. They'll only be visible for the numbers that I have permission to. So with this, you guys get a ton of control on how you can, assign and provide usage. So this is going to be really good for your clients. So if you have clients that you want to be able to see, have them be able to see the call history and log in, especially as we release the white label stuff, you can provide access to your clients to the system. They can log in, they can respond to text messages, stuff like this, all through the system without exposing any of the other parts of the system. So that update is now live. So hopefully that will give you guys some of the control that you guys need with this phone system. We are about to phase out this right here. If we go over to leads, right now we have all calls and we have all calls version 2. So if you guys have not made the transition to move over to all calls version 2, this is going to be the main one. We're just kind of left the other one there to let you guys get familiar with this while we make the transition, but we're about to get rid of the old all calls version in favor of this one. There's a lot more functionality. We feel that it's a lot more clear on how it works. So this is very similar to the other page. If you're using multiple phone systems, you can kind of see over here, I've got CallRail as the provider for this one, and I've got the LeadSnap phone system. So this will blend together all the different phone systems, while this area down here is just our phone system, right? So we've kind of separated those out. There's a lot more functionality that we can provide with our phone system than through the other one, just because something like CallRail or CallSling, they don't give us the ability to say like make outgoing phone calls. That's not a functionality that we can actually do through their stuff. So we've separated these out. This is our phone system, and then this would be all the phone systems kind of blended together on this line. All right, cool. So Jeff, did we come up with any questions along the way through that rambling.
Yeah, Lenny was just saying, like I heard him before. He was just asking if we're doing SEO in the short term for quick money until we can build out lead gen properties, and the answer is yes, in most cases.
I totally spaced there. You said he's asking if we do SEO. Can you just repeat it? My apologies.
Yeah, he says, do most of you doing SEO, do you do it for quick money while you're building out your lead gens? In other words, once you build out the lead gen, then you're competing, or he's asking the further question, once you build out the lead gen, are you then competing against your SEO site, the site you are doing SEO on? So
yeah, so I have this like really strong personal opinion on this, and I know that other people have had a ton of success just going like doing SEO. You know, there's very successful people like Caleb, for instance. He runs a 7-figure agency that's solely SEO. He doesn't do lead gen. He's got plenty of time. He has tons of systems and methodologies in place, which make his business brilliant. But what my opinion is I've never made a lot of money from SEO clients, and it kind of seems like when the money starts to come in is when the website starts to rank, right? Until then, if I'm doing SEO, a lot of my money is pouring out of the company. So if I'm running ads because it's an SEO client, right? If I'm running ads, then a lot of my money is going to ads, and I'm paying people to manage the ads, and I'm paying for, you know, the website to be ranked and backlinks and like all these different parts and pieces. I'm paying for people for GMBs and new content. So I don't feel like I start to profit. There may be revenue that's increasing my top line, but I don't feel like my bottom line really increases until the website ranks. And if that's the case, then why not do lead gen from the beginning? That's kind of and it took a lot of different going down different bunny paths and then coming back before I kind of realized that was how things were going. So do what makes the most sense for you. But that's the experience that I've had in the past. And that's why we kind of pivoted towards not taking a monthly fee when we do lead gen. If somebody comes on, we just do a startup fee, and then we don't bill them until it's ranking, because then it's like we can go at our own pace, and the startup fee will a lot of times pay for most of our expenses, and we don't have the pressure from the client. So, you know, that's my 2 cents on it. So hopefully that gives you some insight. Cool. We have any other questions?
not that I can see.
Cool. Janari, what's working for you? Put you on the spot.
Okay, what's working for me? Actually, I was just thinking, I want to share actually 2 wins that I have, because I know I hopped on a little bit late, just to motivate people and keep people pushing. On Saturday, one of our clients called us, and he's not a LeadGen client. So what we do is we do GMB ranking services for location-based companies, right, that are local. And then I do LeadGen for service-based companies that I know I can build an asset and they kind of depend on me, right? So he called us and he's so excited. He's like, I just sold my company for $500,000.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's like, well, like, oh my gosh, he's telling us a story. So basically what happened, we ended up disrupting the market. His competitor came to him, that's a multimillionaire himself. It's for his son. His son owns multiple locations. And I'm not going to say the niche, but he has multiple locations. He says, listen, this is not for me, it's for my son. And I've discovered that you have been taking all of our customers. So this is what I want to do. I want to make this simple. I'm going to pay you. I'm going to buy both of your locations. I'm going to give you $500,000 and you can just leave. And it was beneficial. It was a great buy because he made 50% more revenue, or even more, I don't even know what the percentage is, than he would have made if he would have kept the stores. So now what he wants to do is he's like, okay, I want you guys to partner up with me and we're going to open more locations and we're going to flip them as an asset, each location. So we're probably going to go in with him, not as a marketer or anything like that, but we're going to go with more of equity. So we're going to try to get, rank these, flip them, and make money. And that's a unique kind of proposal. We haven't really spoken about the next step. They're still in the process of, him receiving the $500,000 and, how that whole process of buying it. But that was huge. And he's like, I understood the power of Google, but I didn't understand it was that powerful. So now he's like, well, listen, we're going to just go around the country and just build locations and flip them. So that was that. And
that's awesome. That is huge. That's amazing. It sounds like you helped this client position himself to where he could get this big payday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think it's important for you guys to be aggressive when you do this equity, because I don't think it doesn't seem like, and I don't know all the ins and outs of this transaction, but it doesn't seem like his ability to sell this business would have even been possible without you guys boosting up those locations.
Absolutely not. And he said that when we said congratulations, he said, no, congratulations to you guys. Cause it's like, I wouldn't have been able to do this without you guys. So he knows the value. He understands everything. And he actually, we are ending up partnering up. I think I mentioned to you guys before on another business venture and more on the manufacturing side of things, but we're still setting that all up. But that's that. And then in addition, we got a new franchise client. We're working with him. It's a awesome couple. We're actually customers. And we built a relationship with them last year. And now we're testing out one location and there's 12 more locations. So that's my win. That's kind of what we've been working on. And I'm swamped. We're busy. There's a lot going on.
Jerry, would you mind sharing some of the high level overview of what your process is with, as far as like, I imagine that you're going through, you're building out the website, and then you're getting, I think that from previous conversations, are these brick and mortar shops you're setting up?
Yeah, this is brick and mortar.
So brick and mortar, so you're able to get the GMB because you have a real address and it doesn't look suspicious at all, right? Because you're just like sending it to a real address that has signage, that has like licensing, all this stuff. So is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you build this out, you've got the GMB, you are putting a bunch of content on the website?
Oh, absolutely. If you can put 4,000 contents, you just, a lot of.
How many pages are you putting on?
For the website?
Yeah.
Well, the website depends on you put all the location pages too. So.
Okay. So with this brick and mortar, you're setting up, are you setting up service area GMBs that kind of filter back to the brick and mortar location so that you can surround the town?
Correct. And then you embed the GMBs in each of those locations as well. Okay.
Got it. And then what are you doing to get reviews?
Between the automation tool, I haven't been using it lately, but I have bought reviews, but and it has stuck, but I haven't used that much. At the end of the day, getting reviews from the actual service, from the customers and stuff like that.
That's awesome. Are you using the LeadSnap automation to get the reviews, and you got your client enrolled on sourcing those reviews from the people that come through his shop? How is that working?
Actually, believe it or not, the client itself, I've explained the power of the reviews, and the client itself is actually just adding reviews. Like the customers just keep going into the list and adding it. So it's been easy with that on that end.
You've got a great client who's making this easy on you.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay, so we've got the reviews. You're getting a bunch of citations for each one of the GMBs?
Correct. And doing the data aggregator, which is primary as well.
Okay, cool. Can you talk more about the data aggregator stuff?
Sure. So the data aggregator is actually the foundational citation. That's where all the other locations is pretty much dependent on when it comes to confirming your information. So that is the first, those are like the big, I don't know how to describe it, Patrick, but it's the big I don't know. I think about it like
I got
this.
you. I know it. I'm asking the questions for, like, we do the same thing in our agency.
Okay.
So basically what's happening is if you get your citation to the right aggregators, that citation will essentially be distributed out to a bunch of other ones, right? That's the way it's working. So it's like it's a special where you're paying for the aggregators, but then you get all these like subsidiary ones. So what aggregation sources are you using, Janari?
Are you talking about like Yext and stuff like that?
Are you using Yext?
The manual version of it, like not actually, I outsource it, to be honest. So it's not like I'm actually doing it myself or in-house.
Got it. Yeah. I hate Yext. So I just want to we brought that name up in this call and I just want to make that clear. The way that Yext works is they would give you these like really high value citations and you'll pay a monthly fee. And they have like a API connection into some like big platforms. And then if you ever stop paying them, they will remove the citation. So it's only good as long as you're paying them. And if you have an existing citation there, they have what they call duplicate suppression, which is kind of sneaky in my mind because they'll eliminate your citation and it will just be theirs. So you could potentially go backwards if you ever cancel their service. So and they want to put you into an annual contract. So their citations are strong. I just don't like the fact of having to pay like, $40 a month per location we've got, hundreds of locations. So that'd be super expensive for us. So you can go and get these citations on your own. You can get their list of citations and then manually go and do them, which it kind of sounds like what you're doing, Janari.
Yeah, because I outsource it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So coming soon with our platform, we are building in the ability to get the citations from us and have those kind of be automated where you can essentially press a button on your DMV and say order citations. So we're going to do it a few different ways. We are working towards a partnership as well as some of our own stuff. So excited for that. We're also going to be we're kind of building a marketplace in the LeadSnap, and you guys will have the option, if you like, to purchase websites. We'll have different classes of websites. So kind of in the final phases of working with someone that's going to join our team and build some really beautiful high-level websites. These aren't like your standard, Weebly type website that looks like it was built by a lead generator. This looks like it was designed very professional, beautiful websites. So we are going to be releasing that, hopefully in the next couple months here, and we're going to have different levels. So if you want something that is not as these ones are going to be custom, and it's going to take some time for them to get in place. But with that, you're going to get a higher quality, and then we're going to have things that are, maybe not as high level, that are going to be a little bit cheaper. So so Lenny, we will be building those in WordPress. We can, with the high level ones, those are going to be WordPress sites. The other ones, we're probably going to offer a menu between stuff like Weebly and Duda, just kind of building out a marketplace where you guys can trust that we've vetted and provide SEO services and some of the stuff that we use within our agency that we've kind of like built up the resources for, and be able to offer those to you guys where you go and you're trying to deal with these like third parties and you're not sure. You're not required on any way. It's just an option, right? It's an option if you if you want to try our stuff out. But I'll tell you, the people that we'll put in here are going to like pass some tests. They're going to be vetted. They're going to be people that I trust, and it's going to have my name behind it. So if you ever get screwed, then like I will make sure that you're taken care of. It's coming soon to theaters near you. Okay, cool. All right. Any questions on any of this stuff? We are about at the 6:25 mark, we got 5 minutes. We got 5 minutes left in the hour. I'm happy to answer questions. We've got some big plans tonight, so I'm gonna lock this down at an hour. Anybody else? Anybody else struggling with something? Something you can't get over? You guys got to use this call. I want to make sure that you guys know what this call is. You guys are free to ask questions. You know, we have built and automated a 7-figure agency. And I know that a lot of you guys have reached out for coaching and you want kind of this like private one-on-one. Right now, it's not working maybe in my best interest to offer that. So if you have questions though, I want to do it on these calls, and I can you know, give you some one-on-one attention that can benefit the whole group, because if you're struggling with it, there's probably a lot of other people. I see Sarah Bailey with her hand up. What's up, Sarah Bailey?
Hello. I think I might be closing this deal with this exterior home remodeler. I have 2 questions. One is about doing a screencast, like the steps, and I don't know if Spencer or you or who's best to answer that, like all the things that you're checking off your list when you make a screencast. But also, like, it seems to be taking forever to get to a place to make a deal with these guys, because they're 2 companies that are partnering together. One has been in business for 4 years and has done really well. And then his friend is starting, and one is doing like complete big jobs and one is doing small jobs of the same exterior home: roofing, windows, siding, solar. So my question is, I'm thinking of just start building my own lead gens for those 4 categories, and then just get going with that. Like they don't want to put a lot of money into SEO. They know it's important, but they don't want to put a lot of money into that right now. And their website needs a lot of help. So this is the thing when I talked about before. Yeah.
Here's what I would do is you said windows, roofing, solar,
and siding. So would I do 4 different lead gens, or one for like all of it? And
absolutely, maybe more than 4, at least 4. How many cities do they want to go after? Or if it's
they're starting in Charlotte, and then the next city is Raleigh, and then Winston-Salem, I think, and then I forget the 4th one, but like 4 big markets in North Carolina.
I'll tell you exactly what I would do. Okay, so first of all, the way that this is going to be structured is I am going to, let's do Charlotte. We'll look at Charlotte first. Okay, so.
Oh, and the heat maps. So like, I'm basically like, consider me starting brand new, like after all the stuff that I've been through lately. We all have our own issues, I know it, but like consider me brand new. I'm a kindergartner and you're teaching me. So Patric, when you do the heat maps.
Hey, Patrick, just a time check. You got 2 minutes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, when you do
You're good. I've got the 2 people that I'm supposed to go with are sleeping. I think what you're asking is going to be valuable to it's going to be valuable to a lot of people in the group. I think this is a great question you have, Sarah. So let's break it down. And my opinion of the 4 niches. Okay, first, roofing and solar are going to be a lot less attractive to me than the window and siding, because I think from a competition level, solar is going to be like through the roof as one of the most competitive niches. You have companies that are going to be paying people to call, 12 hours a day. And like, there's a lot of money in solar, but there is so much competition. I would not start off building a lead gen in that. We actually had, Jeff, I think we have a similar client who's offering, I don't know if they're offering solar, but they're doing roofing, window, and siding. It seemed like those good. Are they doing solar too, Jeff? I know you know.
No solar.
Okay. So we didn't build a roofing site, even though he said that he wanted it. We said, okay, well, like we can add that on later. Let's start off with these. So I've got
50% of his business right now is windows.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be a softer niche, and you need to do your due diligence on every city you go into. But you can look here. I would start off by pulling up a map and seeing what are the big cities that are near here. What cities have more than 70,000 people that are maybe within an hour? I'm going to pay close attention to the size of this company, because if they have 6 crews, I'll be more willing to go after cities that are, 30 to 60 minutes away. If they have 1 crew, I'm sticking with Charlotte only, because I think I'm going to build these things. And then if we do well in Charlotte, they're going to not want to drive to Raleigh and Durham. And,
Right. Well, he said his at least for this example, his radius is 60 miles, and they have more than one.
60?
60.
Yeah.
60 miles within Charlotte, and the office is in North Charlotte, right on the perimeter of the city.
I want to tell you how this is going to play out. Like, hey, this is our radius, but we're going to try to do estimates that are 60 miles away over the phone. And that means their closing percentage is going to fall through the floor, and they're going to kind of devalue these other cities. It's going to be valuable maybe to somebody else, but unless they have multiple crews and they can set up a crew that is in Raleigh, in Durham, it's going to be too, like, I've just seen
Raleigh,
it play out that way.
Raleigh's 2.5 hours away.
Yeah, so
they would go up to Mooresville.
but you want to check the population on that, right? What is
Mooresville is like 70,000.
70? That's
Yeah.
like the bare minimum for me for population. And I don't really like it. That's 37,000. That's too little. You could set up a location there. Build your Charlotte site and set up a location page in Mooresville, but I would not be building a LeadGen there. So I'm going to start it off with windows and siding, and I'm going to say, look, it's $3,000. It's $1,500 a niche. You know, I kind of looked. This is how this is. Okay, so my personal opinion, based on how you've shown up to me in the past in the conversations we've had, Sarah, I think there's opportunity for improvement with positioning. And here's an example of how you use this positioning for this conversation with these contractors is like, hey, normally we charge a $1,500 startup fee. So with you guys wanting 4 niches, essentially it would be $6,000. However, I think that roofing and solar is I think those are tough niches. And I'm hesitant to start off with those. And it could be a long time before we get into that. So I don't want to start off with those. What I want to start off with is these two, and I want to start off in Charlotte. Okay. So you're building trust with this statement right here. It's establishing the fact that they probably weren't going to spend $6,000 anyways if they don't know you and they don't trust you.
No, they wouldn't.
When you take that off the table before they have the chance to say it, there's this positioning where you're saying like, I'm doing what's in your best interest. I'm looking out for you. I'm putting you ahead of me, right? So this is what I want to start off with, and this is why, right? We can add those on later. Those are going to be longer plays, and I want to get some money coming in so that you can trust me, you can believe in me, and then once we have that and we know each other, we're comfortable with each other, then we can start to think about some of these more long-term plays. So that's how I would phrase it, and that's what I would start it off with, and I would like, hey, most people are going to, like, when you come to an SEO company, here's what they're going to do. They're going to say, pay me this like $1,500 a month with the promise that at some point I'm going to rank you, I'm going to get you on the first page, and then it's going to be worth it. That's not how we do it. We take a startup fee. You don't pay anything until we rank the site. So once we have leads, we're going to price the monthly fee based on what's coming in. So what that means is we're aligning our goals unlike SEO companies. We're aligning our goals where as we perform for you, our service is worth more to you, we provide more value to you, then we raise our price. So it's all based on value. We don't do contracts, so you can cancel anytime. But here's what I put in, and this is 100% true, is like we hardly lose any clients because it's very expensive for them to cancel our service. If I'm putting $10 in your pocket and I'm asking for $2, it's going to cost you, it's going to cost you $8 to cancel our service. But when you start to play around with things like windows and siding, where these jobs are worth thousands and thousands of dollars, spending a small percentage to get that business helps my business grow and it helps your business grow. And through this, we have this kind of partnership by aligning our goals. And that's why we structured this business model this way. So that would be the pitch that I would give them. And I would come with a tone of certainty, like you saw from me just now, because I already know what's going to happen. I know that we're going to crush it for these people. I know that we're going to take over the town. You need to not say that to them. You can say that to them, but you need to believe that when you say it. And when you do that, the sales process becomes very easy, right?
I know the confidence and the conviction is half of it.
It's in it. You can feel it, right? You can kind of feel my passion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you
So am
can,
I doing this with a separate lead gen site, or am I doing this on their website, like sending the leads to their site?
I would build my own lead gens. I'm never like, I'm never like voluntarily trying to work on other people's sites. I'm gonna like build my own lead gens. Like I'll let them know, like, we are gonna spend a tremendous amount of money on getting this stuff set up for you. But once we have this dialed in, this is gonna be a machine that's gonna power your business for years and years. If you've never been at the top of Google, then you know, it's worth, in your niche, it can be worth tens of thousands of dollars a month to your top line revenue. So getting this here is a big deal, and you know, it's going to cost us, and we're going to spend a lot of money. We go into the red on this, but we want to have some skin in the game. We want to work with clients that are willing to try to that want to take over a city and are willing to invest in the marketing. We've got other opportunities. So this is how we've structured things. We've got to do it in a way, I guess I could stop sharing the screen of Charlotte. So we've got to do it in a way where you know, we're not going to go into the red for the entire amount, but we're not going to charge you every month. And we're going to say, hey, you don't pay anything until more leads come in. So we're going to decrease your risk tremendously. And you know, we're going to build this up, and it's going to be really valuable to you over time, but it's going to take us a little while. And I always say this, I'm like, anyone who tells you that you know, it's going to take 3 months, like I'll tell them, like, we don't know how long it's going to take. It's different in every city. Google does, it's not like ordering a pizza from Domino's where it's like, we know it's going to be 30 minutes. We don't know. We know that what we do is very effective. We've seen it in all the markets that we've won in across the United States, but it's going to take some time. And you know, we're gonna go through our process. So you're building this trust. You're being honest with them about this stuff, and you know, it can seem like, hey, maybe you're taking money out of your pocket, but in my opinion, you're not.
No, it's okay. Like, I get it. And their average client value right now is 12,500, and they're getting having a lot of luck with canvassing is how they've been doing it.
Yeah, they can easily afford $3,000. And Sarah, you need to take this. You guys all, not just Sarah, everybody on this call, Jeff, myself included, you guys take it personally when someone can afford something and they decide not to do business with you. That's feedback that you are not convincing them you're doing something wrong, right? And like, we need to be self-aware enough to improve when that's the case. If we think it's just the client, then we're slamming the door on the potential to improve things. So when you get that feedback, you know, it's great to record your calls, play it back. You can share it in the group. If you want to share it in the group, I'll go through and listen to it and give it my personal opinion on it. This is the pathway. If we can be like vulnerable and transparent enough with this type of stuff, this is how we all get better, right? If you guys want to, and I'm not pointing any fingers, this is certainly not at you, Sarah, or anyone else on this call. If you guys want to kind of like have this like kind of like ego protected, like, I'm not going to be vulnerable. I'm going to let people think.
I get it. Yeah. It's like, I did this in network marketing when I was in that. We had a coach, and we would do role playing, and we would also submit our calls that we've done, and he would play them and critique them. And I'd rather like look stupid or like make mistakes in front of you guys than in front of clients who could be
100%.
Yeah.
You can keep that attitude, and everyone on this call can embody that attitude. The potential for improvement is so much higher. Like, right. That's how we've tried to build this community where it's safe, and we can kind of share this stuff and say, hey, here's what I'm really struggling with. This is what I'm feeling, because you're not the only one. You may be the only one brave enough to say it and share it, but you're certainly not the only one. Like, I had to get real with myself a lot of times to be like I've told you guys this story a number of times where like I was at this event, and I saw all these people doing big numbers. I was at $4,000 a month, and I'm like 100% trying to be like self-aware of where I am. I'm like, are these people smarter than me? These are the questions I'm internally asking myself. And I like shared this with other people. I'm like there's a group, I brought like John Mueller on here. There was a group of like 4 or 5 of us that all kind of started at the same time. We were all kind of having the same struggles. And I just like voiced it. I'm like, these guys that are doing like 20, 40, 50K a month, like, what is it? Are they smarter than us? Are they like better with people? Are they better at sales? Are they like what do they have that we don't have? Like, what is that? Let's get real. Let's figure it out. And like, you know what? I realized that they had done the work, and they had like executed again and again the same stuff. Whereas I was like getting distracted with this. So I get like, let me go try Facebook ads. Let me go try this funnel. Now I'm going to try to like pre-sell and run ads. And like, I was just getting distracted, and I had got to 4,000. If I got to 4,000, I could get to 8. If I can get to 8 to 16. So I just like narrowed my focus and said, I am going to lock down focus on what I know has worked in the past and just repeat it. As boring and unsexy as it is, I'm not going to add anything to the equation. I'm just going to be the guy who, goes to the basketball guy that goes to the gym and just shoots foul shots. And then I make like 91% of my foul shots and I win the game. And maybe I don't play a sexy way, but we win championships, right? So that was kind of like the mentality that I wanted to lock in. Once we have that, now we can start to adjust the model. But you cannot adjust the model when you are, a beginner, right? And not that you're a beginner or anyone, you can't adjust the model until you're a master, is what I kind of realized. Now we've got this out and we know it works. We can always like try something and say, okay, this isn't working. Let's go back to what we know works, right?
You know what? Last thing I'll say about that is like in network marketing, when I was prospecting, I remember looking at a list. I printed a list of 50 realtors, and this hopefully will help some other people too. And I knew looking at that list that my 50th call was going to be a whole lot better than my first call, and that I would stumble and fumble sometimes, and it's just the way that it goes. But I remember looking at that list thinking, oh my gosh, I feel sorry for you people, because I didn't know them. It didn't matter because they were all strangers, right? But I knew at the other end is where I wanted to be, and I'd be more confident in delivery and all of that. So, and it was true, and that's what happened.
100%. I'm going to share this visualization. I've shared this with you guys a bunch of times in the past. I'm going to share my screen with you. This is going to be my last piece. Sarah, thank you for your awesome question. Thank you for kind of being like vulnerable and transparent on this stuff. We certainly need more of that. So this is I have this idea, and I'd love it if I found a staircase that was way taller than this, but this is what we have. So imagine you have this like super tall staircase right here, and up at the top is kind of where you want to be. And I'll tell you, when you get up here, you're going to realize that there's another staircase that has started. But what this looks like is you guys might think that this staircase looks like learn how to rank a GMB, then like close a deal and like close a second deal, learn how to pitch to more people. And those are some of the steps on the way. But some of the steps are get a GMB suspended. And then the next step might be lose a client. A lot of these steps along the way are get punched in the mouth, right? And if you realize that that's a step, so every time that bad thing happens, you get one step closer, because we went through that. Every one of us that has got to where you guys want to be or think you want to be or whatever, we've been punched in the mouth so many times, and we just realize, hey, that's a step. Just like I don't like taking out the garbage, but sometimes the garbage needs to be taken out. And that's just part of the process, right? If you can kind of like get that visualization in there, hey, I'm learning, I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with this issue. And like, here's a step right here that happened to me last year. Finding out that some of my employees were stealing money from me and logging hours that where they weren't doing work. So I was betrayed, getting stabbed in the back by, bad affiliate deals or whatever. So all of these things are steps along this process towards learning and improving and getting better. And your ability to deal with this stuff and realize that you are moving forward, even when it seems like you are moving backwards, is going to control your ability and contribute to your ability to get to the top of this. It is what it's about. If you've heard it from probably, dozens and dozens of famous entrepreneurs talking about failure. So if you can keep this in here, and when you deal with this stuff and something bad happens, realize you're moving forward and get to a point where you can almost like, how you look at things is it's a decision, right? How you deal with stuff. So like we had an issue where there was fraud, and I have the option to like be a victim and feel sorry for myself, or I could be like, man, that was an awesome learning experience, and like now we're in a better spot, and I know that like, hey, this was a limited amount of fraud that happened. So we've been able to protect ourselves and much better position ourselves. And it's like, what an awesome learning experience, because it could have been 10 times worse, but it wasn't. And now I've got that experience to deal with this in the future. And, you know, whatever happens to you, it's in the past. That event is over. You know, when I was playing poker for a living, I made a lot more money than some of the people who I felt were maybe better poker players, because my emotional control was so on point, right? Where, you know, maybe I'm a 20-to-1 favorite for a bunch of money, and, you know, the one card in the deck that can save this person comes out, person takes all the money. It's okay, the hand's over. I'm already like refocused on the next hand. I'm not going to be sitting here dealing with it. Your ability to recuperate quickly is going to contribute to your ultimate success and like how high you can go, right? So somebody cuts you off in traffic, if you're going to let that ruin your next hour because you're pissed off, or you can just be like, okay, that's over. It doesn't really matter. I didn't get hurt, whatever. It's cool. It's in the past. It's going to make your life better. And these things you're going to have to deal with nonstop in business. As you scale, you're going to have more problems. It's this like fictional thought process that as we move up, like everything is cooler, right? No, you've got so much more problems to deal with. But the good thing is that if you've got to that level, then you've leveled up enough to you have the ability to solve these problems. You have the ability to deal with it. You have the emotional control, right? You've proven you wouldn't be there if you hadn't proven that you've been able to solve these problems. So I'm going to leave you guys with that thought. You guys spend the next week doing awesome stuff to move your business forward. You guys, where we are now, like I'm in Mexico City. We're getting ready to go watch the United States-Mexico soccer game. We rented a box suites. I'm not that far ahead of you guys. It might seem that way. It might seem like we're going to go to a all-inclusive resort for about a week, my wife and I, to just like hang out. You guys can do the same thing. I'm teaching you exactly what we have done along the way. I'm a complete open book. I believe in every one of you guys. If you guys are persistent, there's really only one result. You guys just have to realize that each one of these is a step. So it starts with the next 7 days. So create what you need to over the next 7 days and build your business. And let's create some new wins. Sarah, tell me next week how you close these people and how you have a $3,000 in your bank and 2 LeadGen, so we can start to strategize on how to rank those things. All right, guys, you guys have an awesome week, and we'll talk with you guys soon. Adios, amigos.